Hi, Melford Bibens here, and today I have Ray and Susan DeBrinket with me. They are lifetime master coordinators, and they are my and your upline. So these are absolutely the people you want to listen to as they talk about the Shaklee lifestyle that they've been able to live. One thing that always strikes me is it's not money that makes people happy. Everybody thinks that having a big bucket full of money is really great. It's not having that big bucket full of money. It's what that money gets you. It's the lifestyle that you get to lead when you have A, finances, and B, financial freedom. So, working 100 hours a week and making $1 million is really great until you realize that you can't spend a penny of that money until you're about dead. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that you guys can enjoy the money you're going to make from Shaklee and the time that gives you that chance to enjoy the money. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And this video is all about the lifestyle that Shaklee has been able to create for Ray and Susan. So enough of my rambling. I'm going to let Ray tell you about the unbelievable life these guys have had since they started with Shaklee in 1977. Please, Ray.
Mel, you're right on the money. He said, when my generation, when I grew up, the objective was to work for a corporation, retire at 65, and then you can enjoy the rest of your life. Well, you look at the economic environment today, there's a lot of people that are forced to retire, and they can't afford to retire. So you see them at Walmart as a greeter and things like this. And that's kind of depressing as you get into your older ages. There are a lot of millionaires and billionaires. And if you look at it, they're entrepreneurs. Now, entrepreneurs were not part of the game when I was young. And to be successful today, and if you want to not work for somebody else, being an entrepreneur is what it is. But you also need the right vehicle. And the right vehicle that we found is a Shaklee business, and it is very, very powerful. And along with that, you also need to have the passion. Now, one of the things that happened to me is that I left Ford Motor Company, or I basically left Ford at the age of 37. And we were making more money part-time in Shaklee than I was my full career at Ford Motor Company as a principal engineer. And you needed to take a look at it because working for somebody else, they're dictating what you're going to have. But being an entrepreneur, and if you can have that mindset, then you're going to be fantastic with this business. But this business allowed me to have my freedom to enjoy and do things that I wanted. And one of my goals is to spend time with my 2 boys and my wife, but especially with the kids and their sports. Like I coached hockey, I coached baseball. I was there for their football games. I was the only father there that was there. All the rest were mothers. And it became a nice lifestyle that you can do what you want, whenever you want, and whomever you want. I mean, it's a great, great business. We also were able to build our own dream house on a lake in Georgia. And we have a boat and we have jet skis. So we do a lot of skiing and fishing and things like this during the week where there isn't a lot of traffic. And on weekends, it's a zoo on the lake. So you have choices to do what you want whenever you want. During the winter, we decided to buy a house in Naples, Florida. We're on a canal. So we have a boat there in the winter months where we can go fishing and we can go boating. We go to the islands, or we go to restaurants during the day or dinner and have fun with other couples. It's all a matter of, like Mel said, having the income but having the time to enjoy it. Too many people are working hard. They work long hours and they never get a chance to spend any of the money that they make. But with a business like our Shaklee business, all you need is a laptop and a cell phone. And you can basically build a huge, huge business. One of our other things that I love, I'm a car nut. And Shaklee has been able to provide me with a couple antique cars, a 57 Ford Thunderbird and a 65 Corvette convertible. And these are my pride. I've always wanted these kind of cars when I was a young teenager, and I could never afford it. So this is pretty, pretty powerful. But see, we're talking about all these things and all these material things, but it's something that I have that, but you can have this too. And we want to show you how we can do that for you with the tools that we have set up. And the question that I really want you to understand and think about is almost like a wake-up call. Where are you going to be in 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years from today? If you continue doing what you're doing today, you're going to continue to get what you got. So think about where you want to be. And one of my goals, and I quote this, It's great waking up at the crack of noon and working in your bathrobe, but that's for me.
In my case, I was attracted to Shaklee because I didn't have to work my life around a job. I could work my job around my life, and I would have the freedom to do what I wanted. I could be home with the kids, and I could, take long weekends off and not have to ask for permission. I could take vacation when I wanted to. But the one thing that really got me excited was the travel. My parents were fortunate enough that they were able to travel the world first class. They had wonderful experiences. But it all started after I left home and went to college and then got married. So I never was able to do that. And I kind of figured I'll never be able to afford to do what they did. But by the time I could, I'd be too old to really enjoy it. Well, when Shaklee came along and they offered the travel benefits, that really excited me. That's my ticket. That's how I'm going to see the world. And we have had the most incredible experiences. We've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower. We've ridden the bullet train in Japan. We've walked the glaciers of New Zealand. We scuba dived the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. We've danced at ballrooms and castles. We've had Shaklee rent towns like Monaco one year for a private party for all of us Shaklee people. Now, I don't care how much money you have. Are you going to go and rent a town to have a private party with your friends? And it's one thing having these wonderful experiences, but to have it all paid for, all expenses paid, and be first class and be in these 5-star resorts. But it's even better than that to be able to go with your family, your children, your friends. You will meet friends in Shaklee that will become lifelong, close friends. And every time you go on these trips, one of the most exciting parts is to be there with your friends and have Shaklee pick up the tab. You can't get any better than that. So that's been one really benefit. And just to kind of give you an idea, my parents had traveled first class all over the world. Well, we were able to qualify our children for some of these Shaklee trips, and we were able to take them on some of the trips. And my mother said to me, she says, "You have no idea how lucky you are and how spoiled you are." She says, "We've seen a lot, but I've never been treated the way you people are treated." And we had a friend that was very successful in business, and she became a Shaklee upper level sales leader. And she said, well, she could afford to do things, but she says, nobody would treat me the way they treat you in Shaklee. They treat you so special. And you feel, I felt like the Queen of England or something when we go to these things. It is really a tremendous feeling, and to be really recognized for what you do and appreciated for what you do, it's great.
One thing that I'm noticing is because this company gets everyone that works with them to get into this mindset, I feel like we're getting the same trickle-down effect. We literally have the #1 Shaklee team sitting in our living room right now talking to you. Okay, understand that starts from the corporate level by having that corporate mindset that we want to make sure that everybody's treated well and everybody's going to move forward at the best pace possible. Ray and Susan came into our home to talk to you guys about this. They wanted to make sure that you get that sense that, it starts with corporate. They treat you well. They make sure you have all the tools you need. And it comes down to everybody like these guys, top dogs in the company, hanging out in our living room talking about this stuff. One thing I wanted to touch on is that it's very funny that I feel as though Concetta and my story kind of parallel theirs because we're just starting at that same point. I'm 39 years old, and because of what the internet has done for us, it's accelerated the pace that you can get where you need to be now. So we're already living that lifestyle at 39 years old. I go boating in the middle of the day. I got a garage full of toys. I got street bikes, got dirt bikes. I got a $2,500 motorcycle. I got a mountain bike that costs more than most people's cars do. We have all these toys out there, and it's because we've been able to accelerate the pace. We've been able to get to that level. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about personally was, these guys have been living that life for so many years, but for us, we're able to kind of get to that life a little bit quicker because of the advent of the internet. The internet has made it so everything goes at such a faster pace. And now that Roger's taken over the company, he's got the comp plan going at such a faster pace that we were able to sort of get to that mark really quick. So again, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our story. It certainly pales in comparison to going to a castle and dancing, but soon. So that's it, guys. We just wanted to have a quick talk about lifestyle and the fact that it's not about the money, it's about the life. It's about having the freedom to spend all the time with your family that you want, to be able to take your kids around the world, to be able to show them the things that most people probably won't get to do, and it's just because of this company. So that's it, guys. Thanks. Have a great day.
We're here to help you.